Welcome to another class from the book of We Elei Shemot, the book of Exodus. We Elei Shemot is a Hebrew name for the book of Exodus, which means and we Elei these names, Shemot. We Elei Shemot. Exodus is the Greek term for it, and Liber Exodi is the Latin term for it. And we're talking about rules and regulations. That's what we're talking about, rules and regulations. You know, society doesn't work without rules and regulations. If we don't have rules and regulations, you don't have society. You can't go out and rob your neighbor or whatever. And across the country today, it seems like everything's upside down. Everything's turned upside down with law and order. But hopefully, they'll get back to the Bible under government. People, when they kill people, they need to be threatened with death. Death stops people from killing other people. Firearms are a protective thing. It's a tool. When you have a firearm, you have, if you are qualified, in other words, if you know how to use the gun, you can protect yourself. Otherwise, it's a dangerous tool. But on the outlaw side, they have their guns, they have their ammunition, and they're going to use them no matter how it is. They'll just throw it away and get another one. Now, in Exodus 34th chapter, verse number 17, I'm going to read this from the Amplified Bible here. Exodus 34, if I can find it. Exodus 34 and verse 17. You shall not make yourselves molten God, or you shall make for yourselves no molten gods. You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, or Passover, for unleavened bread. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, as I have commanded you, at the appointed time in the month of Aviv. Basically, that's April. For the month of Aviv you came out of Egypt. All the firstborn males among your livestock belong to me, whether cattle or sheep. Verse number 20 now. We'll see what we can get this far from the Hebrew. You shall redeem their firstborn of a donkey with a lamb. But if you do not redeem it, then you shall break its neck, and you shall redeem all the firstborn of your sons. None of you are to appear before me empty-handed. None of you are supposed to appear before me empty-handed. Pretty strong rules there, aren't they? Oh, this dog ear, this thing here, hopefully I can find it the next time. Now, something hit the floor. Elohi ma sika lo fa aseh lak. Elohi, and this is with a little alif, or a little e, gods. Gods. Page 41, it's nominative plural, masculine construct, and it means gods. It means little gods, like gods aren't really gods. You look at demons, the word demon, daimonia, in Greek means little god, or diminutive gods, because they're supernatural. Now, I want you to understand something. When a mankind begins to worship gods, it makes them very powerful, the gods. Because when you bow your knee to a god, it actually is a demon, and a demon is a supernatural being. And we could say here demons, demon effigies. Demons molded or cast. It means to take metal and melt it and make a form, and to cast this form or this cavity that you're pouring into it that looks like an imaginary god. Now, Israel had learned about lots of gods down in Egypt. Mithraim. Lots of gods down there. There were fly gods, Beelzebub. There were the bull god. There were frog gods, the river god, fish gods. Why, Dagon. Dagon was a fish god. They worshipped all kinds of things. And the thing about it is that that powerful being, when you cast something, it actually has demonic life. It actually draws people to it. Draws people to it. And people all over the world are worshiping things today. And mostly, false religion will always call you to die for it. Or to give something. To get to heaven, you've got to do something very drastic. The molten gods. That they molted these big cast iron or bronze gods there in Israel, and they would take their children, they build a fire in it and take and throw a little baby into the flames of fire, like walking into hell itself for some little baby. Terrible. The mentality of the people in this country on the left side right now, it's horrible. They have no right, they have no knowledge of right and wrong, it seems like, anymore. They're calling for the death of those that oppose them. They're calling for death. And they're taking little babies. You know, a woman and a man, when they come together and they unite, if that little egg is fertilized, that ovum that in the mother, it becomes life. It becomes an individual, a life right there. It becomes a psyche. It becomes a nephesh, a soul. It has hayah, life, Hebrew. It has a soul. It becomes a soul, nephesh, and it actually, absolutely has basar, flesh, also. Now call for the death of that human being. And they want the right to kill that child until it's born, and sometimes in some places after it's born they can just refuse to nurture it or care for it and let it starve to death and die because they don't want to take care of something that they gave life to. How many people out there would just have a bunch of little baby cats and take them out and just throw them in a stream of water? Just throw them and put them in a tow sack or some type of a pillowcase or something, tie it up, put rocks in it, and throw it out there in a canal or a river as you go by. That would be looked as horrible, wouldn't it? Horrible things. To take a golden eagle egg out of a nest and to kill it. Oh, you go to jail, you go to prison for that. Maybe, you know, somebody might even kill you over that. But over a human life. Gods. People's violent freedoms, as they call it, freedom to kill their children. Oh, that's what they did in the land of Israel there. That's what the pagans did. They killed their children. Have you ever thought how much a little child feels pain? You know, I'm one of the few individuals, and there are less than 1%, that I remember when I was born. I remember when I was being born. I remember when I was a very young child. I remember the different stages where at time, you know, my father was alive. He got killed when I was just a little over 2 years old. I remember him well. I remember different events in my life, less than a year old. And I used to remember all of it. Some of it's fading away a little bit now in my old age, almost 80 years old. But I still remember those things. I remember being in pain a lot of times in your life. Have you ever burned your hand? Have you ever crushed your hand? How about a little child being born? Have you thought about the mother is going through a lot of pain? Have you ever thought about the baby? How much pain the baby is going over? And they take and they tear these little babies apart in the mother's womb now to abort them. Rip them and tear them apart. If somebody would have done that to me, I would have felt it. I guarantee you, I remember it. I remember it being in the dark. I was a 10-and-a-half-month baby when I was born. I was real late. And I just seemed like I can remember when I was a very small baby. A lot of things. I remember when they took pictures of me and put me on a pillow in a little chair and all that. And I was afraid of falling off the chair. And I remember being in a little makeshift crib in a little dirt floor shack. I remember my grandmother and grandfather raising me, what my grandfather ate, how he sent me out with a hatchet to chop wood. I can't believe this full-blood Cherokee grandfather of mine would send me out there to chop wood, and I'm a baby. I'm little. My hands would just be blistered. I'd keep on doing it. I just like to work. Gods. People make gods out of a lot of things. People make gods out of their property, out of their wealth, out of their violence. I've known men and women write down how many men and women they have slept with, how many girls have been deflowered, how many men have been seduced. You see this. This is not good. That's not good. That's not to count your episodes of infidelity and whatever. God's casted. And this is the origin of all this. These satanic gods lead people astray. Sexual activity between a man and a woman is a holy and a most wonderful thing that God created. He created every nerve on each of your bodies, male and female. And that is a wonderful thing that holds people together, that they become one flesh. And it's a holy and it is a beautiful, exciting thing. But in these pagan religions, like Ahab and Jezebel propagated, their religious services were sex, but it was sex with anybody. Same thing about the temple of Diana and all of these prostitutes, the temple prostitute that Jacob, or not Jacob, but Judah thought he was having sex with, which was his own actually daughter-in-law, Tamar. But he intended having sex with a temple prostitute. Gods cast. All kinds of gods in the world today, and there was a lot of gods back then. And these gods like these little gods, these demons that lead people astray, it said gods molded and casted, nominative, singular, feminine. Page 651. And then a little adverb of negation here, page 518, low. Tha, aseh. You shall not, you shall keep on making. They were doing it. It doesn't say thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not keep on lying. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill, it means thou shalt not keep on killing. It doesn't say thou shalt not commit adultery, it says shall not keep on committing adultery. Thou shalt not keep on stealing. Thou shalt not keep on bowing down and casting these molten demonic images. And then it says lock. Lock is a preposition, page 515 or 510. And it has a second person masculine singular suffix on it. Gods molded and cast. Not you shall keep on making for yourself. Stop it. Stop it. Stop doing it. Because you have been doing it. They had been doing it in Egypt. Now God calls them out of Egypt. And Moses is receiving the law here. and he's going to pass it on to Israel. Now, 34:18, Et Shag Ha Matz Soth Tishmor Shavoth Yamim Tokal Metzawoth Asher Tis with Yika Tis with Tika Limod Kadesh Ha'aviv Ki Bi Chodesh Ha'aviv. This is a long verse. Yasatha Min Mitzrayim. Let's go and look at this now. Et, sign a direct object, page 84 in Brown, Driver, and Briggs, but it's equivalent to ACE, Epsilon Iota Sigma, or EIS, page 119 in Davidson's Analytical Lexicon. Et, feast, Chag is a feast, a festival gathering. Noun, masculine, singular construct. Ham, Matz, Soth, Hamatzoth. And here we have a feast of unleavened bread. Unleavened bread, page 695. It's noun, feminine, plural. And then Chishmor, you shall keep on keeping. You shall keep on guarding. You shall keep on watching. This is very important for you. This is what makes Israel, Israel. The Exodus, the Passover, this feast is what makes Israel, Israel. This is what they remember. They came out of Egypt. And you shall keep on guarding. You shall keep on watching. Second person masculine, singular, cal, imperfect. Shematter, 1036 and 1581. 1036 from Brown, Driver, Briggs, 1581 from Kohler and Baumgartner. And then Shavuot. Shavuot is 7, page 988. Yamim, 7 days, page 398, noun, masculine, plural, days. And then Tokal, you shall keep on eating. Unleavened bread, you shall keep on eating. It's a type of the opposite of sin. Leaven is sin. The woman that hid the leaven in the loaf, in the bread, and soon it became all leaven. Leaven is always a type of sin. 7 days you shall keep on. 7's the number of completion. You shall keep on eating. Second person masculine, singular, cal, imperfect. From Akal, 37 and 46. Then Matzoth, unleavened bread, 695. Matzah. But in that word matzah, it means to look. It means to make sure it doesn't have any leaven in it. And then asher, that particle of relation here, which tiswa we ika. I have commanded you. I have commanded you. First person construct singular, PL, perfect tense. Now I've commanded you of these things. I commanded it. Page 845 and 1010. I have commanded from Su. Limod now. Limod, or a little preposition in front of it. Page 510, and then at a fixed time, at an appointed time. Limod. Chadash. Month. Actually, it means new moon. The Hebrew month was a solar cycle. It's a lunar month. The solar month is longer days, but this is a lunar month now. It has less days in it. The time of the full moon, from 0 to full moon. Right now we got a full moon outside. A new moon, a fixed time at a new moon of Aviv. And this word here, Aviv, it means ear forming. It means the plants out there in the fields are beginning to form a ear. Remember, Marilyn, when you could plant, you planted corn down there, and it comes up, and the month of April, if you planted it at the right time, the month of April, it begins to make ears. The oats, the wheat, the barley, all begin to make ears in this month. That's what the name means. The month of growing. The month of growing. Aviv. Fresh, spring, green. That's what it means. It means a fresh, green. It's been dry and dead all winter, and now in the springtime you see the wheat is beginning to have little ears in it, little seeds there. And then we have the word key, and the key you can put in because. Page 473, it's a conjunction. Because in month, in new moon, back Kodesh, in new moon, Beth there, page 88, and then the Chodesh, that means the new moon, 294. Ha-Aviv, the Aviv, or April, ear forming month, the growing month, the fresh green month. Yasatha. You had gone out. Second person masculine, senior, cal, perfect. You had gone out. You're going out of what? Gone out of Egypt. Mitz, Mimitraim. Mimitraim. What does that Mitzrayim mean? Marilyn, you remember that, don't you?
Red bank.
The land of red mud and canal banks. In other words, an irrigated land. Egypt was an irrigated land when all the other places that depended on what we call dry land farming, if the ground was dry, there wasn't going to be any farming. You had to have rain. They'd get out there and try to plow the ground and throw the seeds in there before it rained, and then the rain would come and the ground would ruin. Remember one time, Marilyn, you told me about your good friend Evelyn's family over there on Highway 138. There, what was the name of that place down there?
Willows?
Yeah. That area over there, they saw a storm coming. And one of the family went out there and sowed and sowed and sowed because they were just starving. They didn't have any food. They'd had dry land for years. And here the storm is coming. And they got out there and sowed the wheat, and they had a bumper crop of wheat that year, didn't they?
It rained on them.
What's that?
When they went out and it was raining, they sowed the seeds.
Yes, they did. The land of red mud and canal banks, irrigated land, page 595. Egyptos. Egyptos is where we get the word Egypt from the Greek Septuagint, not from the Hebrew, Mithraim in Hebrew. Matzor. Red mud soil of Egypt, page 510, the Brown Driver, or Davidson. Number 19 now, 3419. Call, Peter, Rechem, Li, we call, Mitznika, Tezaker, Peter, Shoor, Waseh. Call is all, page 481. That means all, and all in each every one. Each and every one is what it means. Petar means that which opens. That which opens. Petar. That which opens. What's opening here, what's going to open is going to open the womb. A woman, a child, a woman, a cattle, goats, sheep, donkeys, all, they get pregnant and then their womb opens up and they brought forth a offspring. Every thing that opens, the Rechem, the womb, page 931, it's masculine, singular, womb. Le is a preposition with a suffix, first person construct, singular, is mine. It's to me, is what it literally says, to me. Every thing that opens the womb, to me. is mine. We, that's a conjunction there, page 253, and all, 481, and all miknika, and all livestock. All livestock. Kana, all livestock. All stock that's alive and living. Everything living. His car, male. This zikar is male. It's nephel imperfect. All male, opening. A firstling, pitar, the one breaking forth, dividing, opening the womb, that which opens the womb. Ox, shor, ox, masculine singular, that means the head of a cow. Ox, shior. Wasi, or sheep, and sheep. Sheep is a little animal. A big animal, an ox is an animal that can break the ground, that can pull a plow. A sheep can't pull a plow. Now, all of the riches that these people had acquired because of Jehovah, Jehovah requires that they remember it every day. And when you have a young heifer and she is bred, or a donkey, or a female sheep or goat, when they have the first womb, the firstborn that opens the womb, you have to give it to God. You have to trust God that she's going to have a lot more. Now, a cow may have 10, 15 calves. The donkey, same way, maybe 20. But the first one that they have is not yours. So you trust God that God's going to keep that animal alive till you have more. The next one's yours. But you have to trust Him. That's like tithing. You trust God with your money. You give Him the tithe and hope that you'll keep your job. And hope you'll be able to afford your groceries because you did it. I don't believe in this prosperity gospel business where throw your bread upon the waters and it'll come back 100-fold, etc., etc., etc. But God expected these people to trust Him, to take care of them, that the next one will be theirs. Now, they may have 20 sheep, they have 20 goats, maybe 100 goats, 100 sheep. There's always enough there. Not all of them are having the first one, remember. This one may be having the 5th or the 6th. You get to keep them. But the first ones are God's. God says, trust me. The 20th verse now. Chapter 20. Eupheter, Chamor, Tephadah, Vesa, We'em, Lo, Tifdah, We'araf, To, Kal, Bikor, Banika, Tifdah, We'lo, Yara, Panay, Ragam. Eupheter. You on the front of that, that's a conjunction, page 253. And this word, again, here we have the word feature here. Right here, it's got a PH sound in front of it, not a strong P, but a PH sound because it doesn't have a doggish in the middle of that pay there. So this eupheter, PH sound. U-P-H-E-T-E-R, the one separating, opening. The one separating, the firstborn, that which separates the womb the first time. Donkey, chamor. You know, that word means to walk carefully. Chamor means to walk carefully. The word donkey there, a donkey is a very careful animal. sheep herders use donkeys. They help lead the sheep. They'll stay out of trouble. They're not going to go any place where they're going to get hurt. They're very careful. They're a little skittish about things. And they use them to lead the sheep up into the mountains on the trails, because that donkey is going to lead them on a safe trail. Now, back in the, you go back in the Middle East, and you see the donkeys back there. The donkeys are extremely docile. They're easily taught. I've been up there in northern Israel, southern Israel, mid-Israel, wherever you are over there, you'll see donkeys. Donkeys are very important. And I've seen people go out there, and they'll go out in the fields, and they'll load these little donkeys up. And they'll load them up where you can't hardly see the donkey. And they'll just aim that donkey at home and say, go home. And he goes home. You don't have to follow him. You don't have to guide him. He's going to go do it. He learned. He knows where his home is, and he's going to go down there. He's going to stay out of traffic. He's going to go right down there and go home and wait for you when you get there. The donkeys. Very valuable animal over there. They're a lot different than these wild donkeys here. I have had 2 donkeys in my life that were not wild, that were born in captivity. And they were so much different than the wild donkeys. We caught a lot of wild donkeys. I was trading 2 wild donkeys up here for Wayne Martini. They looked just like twins, and I was training them to drive in tandem as a team. But they were pretty wild because they were caught wild. They were kind of a little rose-colored with a little stripe down their back and across their shoulders. And I was training them to drive. And they were doing a movie there on the Cord Ranch. Mr. Cord was there, E.L. Cord, and my dad was out there riding one of the Arabians, cutting cattle with it. And I was driving this donkey. And I had long lines, and I had just walking behind him and just getting him used to people and things, because he was wild, you know. He'd never been ridden. I was going to drive him. I didn't plan on riding him at all. And I got up there, and I came up to a stream. He didn't want to go across that stream. I had to go around that stream, get away from it. And then the director of the movie decided he wanted me in the movie. But he wanted me to ride that donkey that had never had a person on his back before. But I gentled him down real well. He was just doing really well, except I'd never gotten on him, and I didn't plan on riding him at all. I was going to drive him. That's what I was told to do, training him to drive. Well, they said, now, we want you to ride that donkey up here. We're going to show you, this is the wild donkeys of Nevada, and this is what can be done with the wild donkeys of Nevada. You can use them. They're very useful little animals. Well, I got on him. And I came up to the bridge then that had a stream under it, right up down there by Cord's house, where his mansion is, and some other cabins along there. Anyway, he wasn't going to go any place. I said, he's not going to go over there. And they said, don't worry about it. They picked me and the donkey both up and moved us over there, just set us on the other side of the bridge. Well, that spooked the donkey. I'm on the donkey. They picked me and the donkey both up and set us on the other side. I never saw how well they took care of things in the movies. They got what they call grips and best guys out there. They're out there picking up, doing all this stuff. These stuntmen, except I was a stuntman. I'd ride in this walk carefully person, this donkey. And he was a jack, but he had been neutered. And anyway, they got me up there to where he was doing real well. I mean, I couldn't believe how well this donkey was with never ever being on his back ever before. And they wanted me to make him trot in front of the mansion. I said, I don't know how this is going to work. You know, I don't have anything to hold on with. I've got lines wrapped up in my hand that I was driving him with. And I started kicking him, trying to get him to go. Well, he got up there and something spooked him, and he bucked and threw me up high in the air, about 10 feet, and I fell flat on my back, knocked my wind out of me. And then they picked me up and said, get back on again. Do it again. That did it again until they got the shot. The donkey that walked carefully. And you shall keep on redeeming. Second person masculine singular, Calvin perfect. From Idah. You shall keep on buying back or redeeming page 804 and 911. With lamb. Beth on the front of that, that's with or by. By a lamb. By a little lamb. By a sheep, 962. And then it says we'em and if. And we, conjunction if. That is basically a conjunction, but it's a particle of if, you know. In Greek, there are 4 ifs. First, second, third, and fourth class if. And if not, particle of adverb of negation there, page 518. And if not, tifde. You shall keep on redeeming. You shall keep on redeeming. Second person masculine singular cal imperfect. You shall keep on ransoming. You shall have broken its neck. If you're not going to ransom it, then you're going to have to break its neck. It's mine. This sounds very rough. God once said, it's mine, I gave you the produce, this is mine. Always remember, this is mine. This is my tithe. You shall break its neck. Second person masculine singular cal well consecutive perfect suffix third person masculine singular. You shall break his neck. Every and all Bikor, the one breaking forth. Breaking forth. Here we have another word, Bikor. That means to break. Break forth, noun, masculine singular construct. Breaking this male, this firstborn male, your sons, Banika, your son, Bina, come from B'nai there, the sons of you. Page 120. Now, masculine, plural construct, second person masculine singular, the sons belonging to you. You shall keep on redeeming or buying back, second person masculine singular cal imperfect. 804 and 911. You shall keep on redeeming. We and not, we lo and not, they shall keep on appearing. Third person masculine plural, nifel, imperfect. Nifel, that means cause to appear before me, pene, before my face, pene. Masculine plural, first person construct, suffix, singular. Each and every one of them. They shall not keep on appearing before me emptily. Adverb there, emptily. Rigom, emptily, page 938. Don't come before me with empty hands. You come from me, I gave to you, now you give back. You give back. You honor me as God. When you tithe, when you go to church, when you pray, when you praise God, you are paying back. You are saying thank you. Because there's nothing you can do to go to heaven. There's nothing you can do. But you're paying back. You are redeeming. Don't come before me empty-handed. Don't come before me empty-handed. Our next verse is number 21. We're not going to get into that one this time. We're going to put it verse number 20. Rules to live by. That's what we're talking about, rules to live by. Rules and regulations to live by. In all of this, we need to know one thing, to respect animal life and human life. Every life, whatever is chaya in Hebrew, every life, every living thing has a soul. And it has a body. And Israel, I want you to understand, during this period of time, Israel could not kill a lamb or a goat or a calf or whatever out there away from, you didn't go out there in your tent and slaughter some animal. You had to bring it to the priest and make sure they slaughtered it humanely with a sharp knife, and they caught its blood and they honored its life, because it has life and that life is sacred. And that's why God said, don't eat the blood. Blood has the life therein. When God created Adam, He created him as he made the dust of the ground, and he breathed in him the breathings of lives. And he became a living soul. Body, nephesh, ruach, spirit. All life is sacred. All life is sacred. Our Father, we send this message out for your honor and glory. Please use it. Please, I pray that people will realize that a human life is just as sacred as an eagle's life. That a human life is very special, and that we will answer to God because that life has been given here by the grace of God. Father, please forgive me where I fail you, and use this word wherever it goes, this sermon wherever it goes in the world. In Jesus' name I pray.